Hello and welcome to my tutorial on how to build a landing page. We're going to start with the landing page layout, and this is pretty much what we are trying to achieve with our landing page. So we have a header from the top all the way here. This will be the header element. Inside the header we have a nav element, that's for our navigation bar. Inside the navigation bar we have a few links which will represent with an anchor tag. Also inside the header we have a heading, which will be an H1 element, and a subheading, which can be anything from H2 to H6 depending on the importance and how big or small we want it to be. Then we have a section, and of course we can have as many sections as we want or need for our website. And inside the section we have some divs. I've just put 3 here, but again we can have as many as we need. And at the bottom we have the footer section. So this is what we'll try to design with our website. So the first thing that I need to do is open Sublime Text. If I right click here and go to new window, that opens a new Sublime Text instance. And I'm gonna save the file, so Control S or Command S to save it on Mac. And like I said, we're gonna try and have a new folder for each one of our projects. So for me, I'm gonna create a new folder and I'm gonna call it landing page. So I've created a new folder inside day 3, and I'm gonna save the file with the name index.html. So always has to be called, your homepage always has to be called index.html, and no other variations of spelling, just index with lower caps, no caps lock, no other words. And that's your homepage, and that's the index.html. And now that I have an HTML file, I can type HTML and press tab on the keyboard, and that opens creates the HTML skeleton for me. So I'm gonna start by giving it a title. My landing page will be called Web Dev Course, as that is, let's say, my business that I'm trying to promote. And of course you'll have a different title for your own landing page depending on what you want to promote. And I'm gonna start with the body. We're gonna create our 4 sections. First one is the header. I can open the bracket, type in header, and then enter. That fills in the rest of the syntax for me in Sublime Text. Or I can also type in section and then tab twice on the keyboard. That also prefills the section. I can type it myself, so prefills as well. And the easier one is just to say footer and enter. So that's my 4 sections. I'm gonna add some text in each of them so we know where they are on the web page. If I save this, again Control S and then, or Command S for Mac, and then go to where I've saved it. So that's in day 4, landing page, and then that's my index.html. If I double click on this, it will just open my website in my browser. So I can see I have the 4 sections here, but to be able to see them better, we're gonna start adding some style. So I'm gonna double click here on the empty space next to index.html. That creates a new file in the same folder, and I'm going to save this again with Control S or Command S on Mac, and I'm going to call it style.css. Again, the spelling has to be exactly like this, no caps lock or anything else. Save this, and I'm going to start styling my sections. So for the header, I want it to have a background color of black, and the text color I want it to be white. by default the text color is black, so we wouldn't be able to see black on black. That's why I'm changing the color as well. Section will have a background color of gray, and the color will be white, and the footer will have a background color of white, of black, sorry, and the color white. I'm gonna save this, go back to my browser, refresh, and nothing's happening. Why? Because we haven't linked our style sheet in the HTML. So if I go back to my index.html, inside the head tag, underneath the title, I can type in link and then press tab twice, and that pre-fills the style sheet declaration for me. So all I have to do now is type in the style sheet name, style.css, save this with Command or Control S, and then go back and refresh the page, and we can see our sections are all styled now with background colors. If I zoom in a little bit, we can see that there is some white space around our website first of all, and this is something we don't want. So if we right click anywhere on the page, go to inspect, you should see this. And now I'm gonna try and find out where the white space is coming from. So if I just hover over these elements here, if I touch HTML, I can see that it's pretty much filling the whole space of my web page. So I don't think this is the problem. The head is not represented on the page, so you can't see it. And if I scroll over body, you can see that there's an orange line around my body, and we've seen from previous lessons that this usually means there's a margin. And also if I scroll down in the console, I can see the box model represented for the body, which is something we're already familiar with. So I can see that my section is 526 by 73 pixels, and I can see that I have no padding, no border, and then I have a margin of 8. So I have to set this margin to 0 in order to remove it. I can go back to Sublime Text. I can half of the page. So if I go back to my Sublime Text and select the body, so that will be at the top of my CSS because it's the least specific element, and I'll just set margin 0 pixels. If I refresh here, you can see that now it's covering the whole space, which is what we want. So that's great, and we can start with the content of the header.